Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
You're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 415.
On Now You Know.
So the Model 3 is now even cheaper in Mexico.
Yeah, Tesla started selling the Model 3 refresh rear-wheel drive variant with textile interior in Mexico for 749,000 Mexican dollars or 40,000 US dollars. So that's 50,000 Mexican dollars or 2,670 US dollars cheaper than the previous version, which sold for 799,000 Mexican dollars or $42,730.
It was hard for us to find the average new car price in Mexico, but it seems to be somewhere around 35,000 US dollars.
So while the Model 3 is still above average in terms of price in Mexico, Tesla is working hard to get that price down.
And today there are 35 Supercharger locations in Mexico. So going back to the textile interior, does this apply to the seats too?
Yeah, so the textile seats, which are only available in gray, they're no longer heated or cooled. And the heated steering wheel is no longer available on this variant. So it looks like Tesla's really trying to bring the cost down of this.
So this is, have we ever seen a textile seated Tesla before?
I don't think so. Just the vegan leather seats.
Right. So this is like the cheapest Tesla that they've ever, like cheap in the sense of like non-premium that they've ever made.
Right. So here's a job I've never seen Tesla have before. Tesla is seeking a Tesla Diner Experience Specialist.
A Tesla Diner Experience Specialist? What are you talking about? I mean, you must have misread the listing.
No, it's real. It's for the Tesla soon-to-open 1950s style diner. Remember that drive-in Supercharger location in Hollywood, California? Tesla says the Tesla Diner Experience Specialist works within the charging operations team, and the role is based in LA. The position is responsible for ensuring exceptional customer experience at the Tesla Diner. The primary responsibilities will focus on managing audio-visual experience, content programming, digital experience, menu reviews, and providing coverage support for the location manager responsible for facility and asset management. The individual will collaborate with several internal Tesla teams like the design studio, merchandise, UI, app, procurement, and leadership, and multiple external vendors. Responsibilities of the role may change over time, seeking an individual who is passionate about providing unparalleled and immersive customer experience for charging and dining.
That actually sounds like a really fun job.
Doesn't it?
I thought when they said, diner specialist, it was going to be like, can I get you any more coffee? Like, I thought that it was going to just be your typical, I thought it was a fancy term for like a waitress.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, thanks to YouTube channel 24/7 Tesla, we see that the construction is proceeding with the diner. This is at 7001 West Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. It's getting the glass and the weatherproofing this week, and the high voltage lines are getting installed.
This is going to be so much fun. Look, the tower is getting like a stainless steel finish.
Yeah, it's like a Cybertruck finish. And it looks like there's going to be 2 movie screens for the drive-in, so you won't be able to miss it no matter how you're parked.
And it looks like you'll be able to see the Hollywood sign from the top of the diner.
Yeah, I don't know if it's copyrighted to show this, but that's the view basically. And I can't wait to get some Franz fries.
And Musk milkshake.
Exactly. And so we asked our Patreons this week on our Patreon poll, would you like to work at the Tesla Diner? I feel like it's just be a really fun job. All right, so what movie should we pick this week? And also comment down below what we should name the diner.
And what movies we should play.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a back-to-back Spaceballs and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Ooh, which one do you choose?
That's
tough.
So Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that removes personal information that's being sold online.
That information can open you up to identity theft, personalized scams, and financial risks related to data brokers selling your data.
So we've talked about how frustrating it can be to see so much of your information about you and your loved ones online.
I easily found past addresses and contact information about me and my loved ones.
Delete Me's mission is simple: to remove customers' information from search results. They believe in your right to own, manage, and remove personal information from public access.
When you sign up, you get a privacy report in 7 days outlining what information they found about you and what they deleted.
Delete Me will work to remove all your personal data like phone numbers and addresses, even photos, email addresses, and lists of relatives.
The experts will monitor sites and repeat removal as needed, and users can make custom removal requests.
Since the ways companies collect, share, and sell your data is constantly changing, Delete Me believes that online privacy solutions must continuously improve and evolve.
With easy-to-use controls, you can manage privacy settings for the whole family under one roof, offering unparalleled peace of mind, knowing that your loved ones are protected.
So sign up for Delete Me via our link in the description below. Use our code NYK20 to get 20% off.
Thanks to Delete Me for sponsoring this episode.
Back to the show. All right, so NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, has closed its 2020 investigation into alleged suspension failures in 75,000 Tesla vehicles.
It took them 4 years to close the investigation. What was it for again?
So NHTSA was looking into claims of 426 four-link failures. Those are those bars on the front suspension. This happened on 2015 through 2017 Model S's and 2016 through 2017 Model X's. NHTSA says a majority of failures occurred between 1 to 15 miles per hour while in driveways or parking lots. Tesla paid for most of the vehicles to be repaired. In fact, I had a four-link replaced when I brought Sparky in years ago because a Tesla tech spotted some wear and tear on it, and then they replaced it for free.
It just seems so weird. It's like NHTSA was trying to make a problem where there wasn't one.
Yeah, it's almost like powerful senators who don't like Elon were like nudging federal agencies to start investigations. I wonder if there could be such senators.
Let's turn to the UK, where Renault is getting a little cocky.
Yeah, on a billboard outside of London, Renault is running an ad that says, "New Renault Scenic E-Tech puts Tesla Model Y to shame in both price and range."
And according to the French media site Automobile Propre, the billboard, which is located near an EV charging site, has a Tesla detector. So when a Tesla gets near the billboard, the ad changes to say, "You're probably good at other things, and what makes Tesla owners feel guilty?"
So what French media site was this again?
Automobile Propre.
Oh, I see. Okay, so what Renault Tesla killer model are we talking about again here?
It's the Renault Scenic E-Tech, which starts at £37,495 and can cost up to £45,495.
Okay, so let's compare that to the Model Y price in the UK.
Okay, so it looks like we're talking £44,990 for the rear-wheel drive Model Y, and £52,990 for the long-range Model Y, and £59,990 for the performance Model Y.
Okay, so the Scenic E-Tech does beat Model Y on price if you're going lowest to lowest.
Sure.
But what about range?
Well, the lowest price Scenic has a 60 kilowatt hour battery and 125 kilowatt motor for a WLTP range of 260 miles. That's 418 kilometers. And it only charges at 130 kilowatts of DC fast charging.
Hang on. That's less range than the rear-wheel drive Model Y, which has 283 miles, 455 kilometers of WLTP range. And not to mention the Renault is like half the charging speed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what about the most expensive version of the Scenic?
That version is called the Iconic, which has an 87 kilowatt hour battery and 160 kilowatt motor with a WLTP range of 379 miles, that's 610 kilometers, and a slightly faster charging speed of 150 kilowatts.
Okay, so that version does have a higher range than the 331-mile long-range Model Y, if we believe Renault's range numbers. But again, 150 kilowatts of charging speed versus 250 kilowatts of charging speed for the Model Y.
Well, and I think, again, the competition gets to cherry pick this model, which is cheaper but has worse range. But then they get to say we have better range, but that's because they picked the more expensive model to use for range numbers.
Yeah, and let's not forget a few other things that Renault chose to leave out, right? I mean, the Model Y is safer.
The Model Y has more power.
The Model Y is quicker, 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds for the cheapest rear-wheel drive version of the Model Y versus 8.6 seconds for the Scenic's base model.
And at the moment, you can't charge a Scenic using Tesla's 1,271 Superchargers in Europe.
And the Scenic is never going to drive itself.
But what do you guys think? I mean, comment down below and let us know if you're interested in getting a Renault Scenic E-Tech.
Look, I think this is typical big auto stuff, right? You confuse the customer by cherry picking stuff. And the reason the Model Y is the best selling car in the world is because Tesla nailed it, like on everything. And Renault, all they can do is hope to like, well, if we compare apples to oranges, we can beat you in this.
Right. I mean, technically, the Iconic version of the Scenic E-Tech, oh, what a freaking paragraph, is the Iconic version is cheaper than the long-range Model Y while still having more range.
If this is all if Renault's range numbers are true.
Let's just hand it to them. But again, it's like they're selling a different sort of car.
Speaking of cocky, Lucid CEO Peter Rawlinson just posted on his LinkedIn page this chart showing what he claims is Lucid's efficiency advantage.
Okay, so what are we looking at here?
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. All right, so let's start with the red line, which is Tesla's Model S starting in 2012. You got the EPA's miles per gallon equivalent or efficiency on the y-axis and the model year on the x-axis.
Okay, so the Model S has been getting more and more efficient pretty much every year, according to data from fueleconomy.gov and lucidmotors.com. Not exactly sources I would trust, but okay.
In blue is Porsche and black is Mercedes.
Okay, so both of those are less efficient than the Model S, and I assume that the green is Lucid's efficiency?
Yeah, Rawlinson is claiming with this chart that Lucid's efficiency today is at 146 miles per gallon equivalent, which is where Tesla will be, he says, in 2032, and he's calling that Lucid's advantage.
So Rawlinson, who used to work for Tesla and claims to have designed the Model S, although Elon denies that, he's saying that the Lucid Air Pure achieves 5 miles per kilowatt hour.
Yes, but can we just back up for a second here? If you told Tesla engineers that they could spend more money on components and parts and processes, I'm sure they could develop a more efficient powertrain. That's not really the hard part. I mean, of course, it is hard. But the harder thing to do is what Tesla has done, which is to mass produce a car at scale that is not only super efficient, but also affordable and profitable, something that Lucid has yet to do. So again, this is a CEO cherry picking something that they want you to look at. Behold, investors, Lucid has a super efficient powertrain.
But are you profitable?
Behold how shiny it is.
Yeah, it's shiny, but can you mass produce it profitably?
Behold, did I mention how efficient it is?
And then it makes headlines and everyone goes, wow, Lucid is way ahead of Tesla.
Meanwhile, as we pointed out many times before, in the latest Q2 numbers for Lucid lost $328,000 for every vehicle they delivered.
Hey, but at least that's an improvement from the $347,000 that they lost per vehicle the quarter before.
Did I show you how shiny it is?
To go back to the graph. Mm-hmm. So you take the two trend lines and you go, if we continue this trend linearly,
Tesla will be out of business in 2032.
This is the last thing that anybody cares about when buying a Model S.
Right.
For God's sakes.
Right.
He's ignoring the Model 3, which is the more efficient one. Uh-huh. So if you were shopping for efficiency, you would be buying a Model 3. And I'm not going to put it on a graph because I think it's all irrelevant.
It is.
I don't think that anyone buying two electric cars, at least at the moment, is going to be like, well, this one's more efficient.
This is just to get him more press and to get investors off his back. But why are you losing so much money on every car? But did I show you the efficiency?
I just don't think the people who are buying $150,000 cars are going to be like, what about the electricity mileage?
They don't even care.
I know I'm going to be saving a lot of money switching from my gas car, but could I be saving an extra $40 a year?
They care about the stitching on their seats and the clear coat. Come on.
Well, surprise, surprise, Tesla's Supercharger network has come in first place in the latest J.D. Power 2024 U.S. EV Experience Public Charging Study.
I'm sorry. Hang on. Of course, Tesla came in first against ChargePoint, EVgo, and Electrify America, but this doesn't look right. Mm-hmm. So first of all, this survey is out of 1,000 points, right?
Okay.
So how did Tesla only get 731 out of 1,000 points? I mean, how did it not score like in the upper 900s?
Well, I mean, it's still 100 points higher than its closest competitor. You know, it's a lot. This study is a lot like dressage, you know, where of course like 100 is like unheard of.
Okay, wait a minute. That's my next qualm here. ChargePoint came in second. This is DC fast charging we're talking about, right? So what criteria were these chargers being rated on?
Let's see. Ease of charging, speed of charging, physical condition of charging station, availability of chargers, convenience of location, things to do while charging, safety at the location, ease of finding the location, cost of charging, and ease of payment.
All right, those sound like great criteria, but how could ChargePoint have scored only 100 points less than Tesla on ease of charging and ease of payment? I mean, charge points are way harder to use. Or availability of chargers and charging speed? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, last I checked, ChargePoint only had a few hundred DC fast chargers in the US, and most of them only charged at 125 kilowatts, unlike most Tesla superchargers that charge at 250 kilowatts. I mean, there's definitely something fishy about the survey.
So let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with the survey results. I'm going to say something kind of controversial. I think Electrify America should have come in second place.
What?
I'm just going to, call it a spade here. I honestly, in terms of like the number of locations, the speed of charging.
Let me just check the criteria again. Did they have how often they're broken?
Well,
No.
physical condition of charging stations. They didn't want to say broken in the criteria.
Or availability of chargers. Yeah, no, there's no way. I'm sorry. This graph is way out of whack. I think it's just because J.D. Powers wanted to be able to sell the data to the other companies, and they didn't want them to.
And they're like, we are in number 2.
Look, we're number 2. So Tesla has launched a new version of the Tesla mobile app, version 4.36.0. And according to Not a Tesla app, I know, confusing, right? It appears that there is some code in the update that relates to ASS, actual smart summon.
Oh.
So Elon has been teasing it for a while, right? He said that ASS should launch with FSD 12.5, so we could be seeing it soon. I mean, he said August.
So maybe in 2 weeks. Now, what is ASS actually smart summon? So that would be where it's like summon, which we have now.
But it's actually smart.
But it's actually smart.
Right.
It would be able to do it from like a longer distance away.
Right, like out in the parking lot
because
somewhere.
as it is right now, you have to be within a certain distance.
Yeah, smart summon now pretty much just pulls it out of a parking space, right?
No. It'll drive to you, but there is a limited range in which it'll work away from you.
Oh, okay.
And I think that that's because you should be able to see the car right now because it might run into something and you have the dead man switch.
So what you're saying with actual smart summon, I could be like out of sight of the car. It could be way at the back of the parking lot and then I can just summon it?
I think that that's the idea.
Would I trust that?
I don't know. I mean, I know that Elon's talked about it a bit, but I think that it's like, what's the difference between that and smart summon right now? That's what I want to know. I know that this is different than banish. Banish would be that you drive up to the front of some place and then you banish the car and it goes and parks itself.
Well, wait till I show you this video from Waymo on Patreon bonus stories this week. It's going to blow your mind.
Actually, stupid summon.
All right, it's time for the Cybertruck Roundup. Yeehaw!
The Cybertruck Roundup.
Yeah, so much Cybertruck news this week. How about we start with a Cybertruck spotted in Brownsville, Texas, near Starbase, towing a giant Elon statue.
Is that Elon?
Well, yeah,
sure.
Or who else could it be?
True. So they're gonna launch it into space?
Launch it into space. Launch it into space.
It's funny. Grok did a better job making Elon's statue than they did, but. A lot of potential Cybertruck buyers have been confused by Tesla's Cybertruck orders page because now it doesn't show the cheaper rear-wheel drive $60,990 version of the Cybertruck.
Don't worry. Wes Morrill, Tesla's lead engineer for reliability test and analysis for all Tesla vehicles, said, "Our continued goal is to make it extremely easy to order. It was overly complicated and has been simplified based on what we're producing today."
So basically, Tesla, which is only selling the Foundation Series variants at the moment, simplified the order page. They don't want to show the models you can't buy at the moment.
Yeah, don't worry. The rear-wheel drive will be available when the Foundation Series sales are over. That's likely to be in September.
Because I think a lot of people look at the lower priced one and they go like, oh, I wish I didn't have to pay $100,000 for this truck.
I mean, that'll be a $40,000 price drop for basically the same truck.
Does that mean that... So it's every $5,000 you reduce the price of a car, you double the number of people who can afford it. Mm-hmm. So 40, that's eight
times more people.
No, it's 8 times 2. No, is it 8? Is it 8 squared?
I think it's a lot.
64 times more people can afford it?
I think so.
Am I right? Am I right about that?
I don't know. Comment down below. I think it's way more affordable.
I'm not good at doing math on the fly here, so feel free to correct me in the comments. Kelley Blue Book has just revealed that the Tesla Cybertruck was the best-selling vehicle priced above $100,000 in the U.S. in July.
Wow. It just bumped like BMW, Mercedes, like off the map. Woo! Nice job. And then Sawyer Merritt posted news. Unplugged Tesla has unveiled a Cybertruck capable for military use called Sting. So it's got bolt-on, bolt-off heavy armor. It's got the ability to turn the Cybertruck into a 125 kilowatt portable mobile charger. It's got Starlink. It can withstand 14.5 millimeter heavy machine rounds, and it's engineered for both government and civilian use. It's built by Upfit Tesla in partnership with Archimedes Defense. So why would you make this for a singer? I don't understand. What? Sting like trying to get to his concerts or something?
No, not that Sting. No, it's an acronym for strategic.
Super tough, intrinsically new gear.
Yes, exactly. I think that's exactly what they called it.
That is cool. And Elon said it's cool. On Saturday, the head of the Chechen Republic, Ramzan Kadyrov, posted a video on Telegram of him driving a Tesla Cybertruck with a mounted machine gun on the back. Now, in the post, Kadyrov gave high praise for the vehicle, saying, "We received a Tesla Cybertruck from the respected Elon Musk." Not true. "I was pleased to test the new technology and was personally convinced that it is not by chance that it is called the Cyber Beast, a real invulnerable and fast animal, a maneuverable car that develops excellent speed and overcomes obstacles, a very comfortable car. Based on such excellent characteristics, the Cybertruck will soon be sent to the Northeast Military District Zone, where it will be in demand under appropriate conditions. I'm sure this beast will bring a lot of benefits to our soldiers."
Okay, let's take a step back here. So this isn't
So
this is
in case
Chechnya from Russia. Like
they are allies of Putin.
It's a republic within Russia.
Right. So Elon, first of all, Elon doesn't give Cybertrucks to anybody, not even his mom. So it's not like he gifted this to them. They basically got their hands on it. And this is propaganda. I mean, I just want to be clear. Like, yes, there's probably a real machine gun, but
quite literal Russian propaganda.
Right. It's to make you think that like Elon is supporting them. He is not. So again, media outlets in the mainstream media, I'm sure you will go with this. I'm sure you'll run it. But for those of you watching the show, know that it's not true. Yes, this guy does have a machine gun on the back, but Elon does not support them.
Damn it, because I so wanted to see a machine gun on the back of the Cybertruck. I don't know. I guess I'll just have to wait for Brendan Herrera to do it. So the Cybertruck order page has been updated. Customers can now choose between two wheel options, the classic Cyber wheels with the all-terrain tires and the new Core wheels with all-season tires. So here's the thing. The all-terrain tires look awesome, but the all-season tires get the better range.
So what's the difference?
The all-terrain tires get 318 miles of range. That's 511 kilometers. The all-season tires get an estimated 340 miles or 547 kilometers of range. So these two photos are showing the all-season tires with and without the wheel covers. Now the Core wheels are only available for the Cybertruck all-wheel drive Foundation Series.
Right. The Cyber Beast, which has 301 miles of range, is only available with Cyber wheels and all-terrain tires. Of course, it's a beast, which honestly is another reason that why we didn't get that version. It's $20,000 more and it has less range.
But it does go 0 to 60 a lot faster.
No, I know. I mean that's cool, but
that's why people pay the money for
totally.
it.
I totally get it.
So if you look closely at the Core wheels, you can see the tires are Pirelli Scorpions with the word Cybertruck.
And a new Cybertruck owner just reported on Cybertruck Owners Club over the weekend that he took delivery of his new Cybertruck with the Core wheels, and he got crazy good range. Check this out. He said driving home, consumption was 304 watt hours per mile. This is around 370 miles on a full charge. Mixed city driving, about half freeways. Next trip, streets only, light traffic, 97 degrees out, by the way, and 285 watt hours per mile, which works out to about 400 miles of range. Now, obviously, that's slower speeds. But I just want to mention here that up until now, we've all been driving around our Cybertrucks with these big, rugged, badass-looking tires, which is awesome. But if you're going to mainly stay on roads and you're looking to maximize your range, yeah, switch over to all-season tires, and that has a huge range increase. Doesn't look as badass, but...
Yeah, but I mean, I take it off-road all the time.
So JC spotted this beautiful red Cybertruck at the Tesla Service Center in Westbury, New York.
And Kenneth spotted this Cybertruck in Manhattan on 20th Street near Avenue C.
I love the little googly eyes on the front. Oh, and look what Joel spotted in Prague in the Czech Republic.
He said, I didn't even think driving one in Europe would be legal, but there it is. Well, technically it's parked.
Yeah, maybe they just drop it off with the ads on it. And our viewer Francisco in Mexico was able to configure his Cybertruck for delivery in September or October. He says he was an early 2019 reservation holder, and he's super excited to finally be getting it. So this would be cool. I mean, if it's now going to be coming out in Canada and Mexico too, and Prague, and well, we'll see later in some other places.
Okay.
So Tesla Cybertruck owner Dan Burke has been busy towing a construction trailer and doing some math. He says, Cybertruck doing the work, it's replaced my Ram as the around-town tow vehicle for the construction trailer. Even with reduced range, most of my trips are 15 to 20 miles each way a few times a day. Saves me almost $65 a day in fuel. Now, he was asked how he arrived at this figure, and he responded, "How? Because that's how much gas I put in my Ram almost every day when I'm pulling this trailer. It weighs 6,300-ish pounds on a normal day, and the Ram gets right at 9 miles per gallon pulling it." The Ram has a bunch of performance mods, which is great for power, but sucks down fuel. Premium fuel, no less, because of the towing tune I run it on. The Cybertruck is averaging 675 watt-hours per mile on the same drive if I stay off the highway. On the highway, it's around 824 to 875 watt-hours per mile, depending on wind. So on a typical day, 160 miles at 9 miles per gallon times $3.95, that's $70. If I charge at my house off-peak, it's 4.5 cents a kilowatt-hour, 100 kilowatt-hours back to the battery at 4.5 cents, and that's about $65 a day in savings.
So what would that be in like a year?
Well, 5 days a week, it's probably about $17,000.
Of savings.
Of savings.
Every year.
Every year. $17,000 worth of gas not being burned.
Holy crap.
I mean, I know that this case is pretty peak, like, because it's cheap electricity and a very gas-guzzling truck, but still, that's amazing.
That is amazing. Wow. And if you're wondering when the Cybertruck range extender, that extra battery pack that will be mounted in the bed, will start deliveries, well, the order configurator for the Cybertruck has been updated, showing that although it was expected in late 2024, it is now slated for early 2025.
Yeah, we reserved one, but I'm not sure if we're actually going to need it, to be honest. Maybe when we start towing our mobile solar trailer studio around the country, we'll add it. I don't know.
I know. $16,000 for an extra 130 miles of range. I mean, what do you guys think? Comment down below. I mean, that kind of range number is just insane. I mean, I think it'd be great for camping.
And you know how I mentioned the Cybertruck was appearing in all kinds of weird places? Mm-hmm. Check this out. It appears that a Cybertruck with Chinese license plates was spotted in China.
Wow. So
I don't think that's AI. I think that's actually, How did they get plates? Like, I understand how you'd get one there, but how do you get it registered?
You pay somebody off?
Or you just go, it's a Tesla.
It's a Tesla. Yeah. It's a Tesla Model Y.
It's a Model Cybertruck.
It's a Model Y with heavy modifications. It's not a big deal.
Wow. That's going to break the internet in China,
yeah,
I think.
I think so. It shows that, I think for a lot of people, we're like, well, there will never be this car there until they start selling them there. And it's like, no, people with a lot of money,
they'll move
they'll
around.
Put it on boats and airplanes, get it wherever the heck they want it.
Hey, if you want to find out where the Cybertruck is going to pop up next, go to the Cybertruck Owners Club. There they have all the latest information on Cybertruck, and they help sponsor the show. So thank you so much for doing that, guys. Okay, so for this next story, I don't want to trigger you, so I'm going to have you put on these noise-canceling headphones. Okay. Hopefully that will mean you don't hear. Do you hear what we're talking about? Your Model 3's on fire. Okay, he doesn't hear us. Great. Okay, so now that Jesse isn't paying attention, I can tell you about Rivian's new travel kitchen. Now, as you may know, if you've been following us for a while, when we got a Rivian R1T back in April 2022, it was supposed to come with a camp kitchen for an extra $6,700. Your Model 3's on fire. Okay, candors. That would roll out of the gear tunnel. Remember that? But when we got our Rivian, they said it would take a few more months to finish it. So we waited and we waited. And finally, we went on a camping trip in the fall where we made our own prototype kitchen. And after years of waiting, we gave up on ever having a camp kitchen in the Rivian. And both Jesse and I have been a bit salty about that because it was one of the cool features that would have set Rivian apart from its competitors. It is, after all, supposed to be an adventure vehicle. But last week, Rivian unveiled their new travel camp kitchen for $1,400. And I was like, better late than never.
Wait. Oh, crap. Whoa, what's that? What's that? What's that? Hang on.
You weren't supposed to be watching. Okay, so I didn't want you to see that. I knew you might get upset. It's the new Rivian travel kitchen.
No, it's not. No, it's not. That's an induction cooktop. There's no sink. There's no water to wash dishes and pots. Sure. It doesn't stow in the gear tunnel and roll out with the gear slide shuttle thing because there is no gear shuttle. This is also, by the way, 2.5 years later.
Okay, look, take it easy, all right?
How do they get to call this a travel kitchen? We had a better kitchen, and we spent about $80. We had an induction cooktop. We had an electric grill and a griddle. We even had a sink and water. This thing costs $1,400? But what the f***?
Okay, well, I mean, it has a cutting board.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay, well, it has a drawer to keep utensils and stuff in. And look, there's hangout lights on, like a retractable...
Hangout lights? It looks like a 5-year-old designed this. I mean, this is something I feel like I could have found on Amazon for like, I don't know, $80? Maybe $100?
It is funny how they show this wonderful meal and like I think the pots and pans cost more than $1,400.
Right. Also, where are you keeping all of this dishware? The breakable ceramic dishware. And then when you're done, how are you cleaning it up?
No, it's a good point because the original camp kitchen was going to stow some like unbreakable dishes and utensils. And this one you have to bring your fancy. No, I mean, the biggest thing for me is the sink. Like the fact that after this wonderful meal, you're going to have to clean it. And I have no idea how you're going to do that unless there happens to be a cabin nearby.
I mean, it's just, look, I understand that the original camp kitchen was way too expensive. It costs more than an actual kitchen.
Right.
Right. So I get it. But it was cool. It slid out, and it's like, maybe that wasn't for everybody. This is like
$1,400. I mean, do you remember when we bought
kitchen.
our induction cooktop and the griddle? I think the whole thing did come to $80. I think like the entire thing we did that whole episode on was $80.
Right. And I mean,
and it was awesome.
It somewhat, yeah. I mean, it was good. I mean,
compared
it does
to this,
more than
it
this.
does way more than this,
right? And it's just like, okay, you're going to show me a Le Creuset frying pan, and I know that the cast iron doesn't cost that much, but like all of these fancy dishes, it's all giving you it's so fake.
I know,
and it's like, yeah, you could bring your dishes from home, but like, are you really going to want to do that? It doesn't come with a dishwasher. It doesn't come with a sink.
And if I were to make this today, if we went back to our original episode, I think I'd even throw in a fridge, like a mini fridge.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's so many things that we could have done and that you could fit in the gear shuttle. And they still haven't even come out with the gear shuttle.
I know.
So it's like you have this space in the truck that is awesome, but they haven't made it usable because it's really hard to get in there unless you have just a duffel bag.
I know. I shouldn't have had you watch this.
Man.
So GigaBerlin is getting praise from IHK Ostbrandenburg, which is like a chamber of commerce for 42,000 companies in Brandenburg, Germany.
What did they say?
Tell me more, tell me more.
They said that GigaBerlin, which has the most employees in the region, has the largest on-site training of employees, the most nations represented in the workforce, 120, and the lowest water consumption per vehicle produced in the industry, 1.5 cubic meters per vehicle. It also has the most EV charging stations, soon to be 500 charging stations.
Tell me more, tell me more.
Tesla employee Yevhen Krasnikov, who is deaf, noted in sign language that even the 15 deaf employees at GigaBerlin have no issues communicating, saying, "I think it's great. There's nothing negative, nothing bad. Everyone is open-minded, friendly to communication. I concentrate on my work, and everyone else does too."
And don't forget the free electric train, the Giga train that we reported on last week.
That's right. Free transportation to and from the factory for 4,500 employees per day.
But of course, with good news at GigaBerlin, there must also be bad. Grundhind Mayor Arne Christiani announced that chemical warfare agents were found in Development Plan Area Number 60 at Friedenbrink Nord Service and Logistics Center.
Cleanup is expected to start today and last until next week.
Not sure how they got there, but hopefully this won't have too much of an impact on Tesla's expansion plans for GigaBerlin.
I think I know how they got there.
You think it was...
Protesters!
Wait, so, whoa.
What can we do to slow things down?
Wait. You think that... No, these aren't pro-oil and gas protesters. These are environmentalist protesters. You think that they would intentionally put chemical weapons in a forest?
They attacked the building. They attacked the building and injured people.
I don't know. Maybe no. They would never do that.
They also set fire to the electrical grid. So I don't think this would be beyond. Any other ideas at the meeting for how we can slow down Tesla? Yes, Hans? Oh, chemical weapons. Yeah. Let's bury those in the forest. So unless you're living under a rock, you have either listened to or heard about the Elon Musk and Donald Trump conversation that took place on X on August 12th. Now, it seemed like it might not happen at first because Elon initially said that X experienced a DDoS attack on their servers, and it took about 45 minutes for X engineers to solve that problem. Now, it's not clear exactly how many people have listened to this 2-hour-long conversation, but according to Elon, combined views of the conversation with Donald Trump and subsequent discussion by others account for now about 1 billion. Now look, while Tesla Time News does touch on politics sometimes, especially when it relates to EVs and sustainable energy, that's not what we're here for.
We're not here to tell you how to vote.
But I do think it's important, since I listened to the whole conversation and then the next day saw how the mainstream media reported on it, and then heard people I know relate to me what they thought was said. I think it's important, in case you didn't feel like spending 2 hours to watch it, to know that every mainstream media article and report that I've seen in the past week has been a gross misrepresentation of what was said during the conversation.
And Elon kind of agrees with you. He says almost all of legacy media will trash the Trump conversation, thus driving total listeners probably past 200 plus million.
My recommendation, if you're interested in knowing what was really said, even if it's just to see how much you're being lied to by the mainstream media, is this 35-minute edited version. We'll put the link down below in the show notes. And yes, it is edited, but it's mainly edited to take out silences and stuff that's kind of extraneous. And so if you really want to know what they said, but don't have 2 hours, this may be a good choice for you.
We're going to talk about this more on Patreon bonus stories this week, so you can join us over there if you want to get kind of our take, but you should at least listen to the 35-minute version if you want to feel up on it.
And here's the reason why. I mean, as Thomas Slabber says, phone call with my dad yesterday. Dad, I'm usually a fan of Elon, but did you hear all that crazy stuff he said during that chat with Trump?
And Elon said it's crazy how much people trust the media in Europe.
And as James Stevenson pointed out, banned in the EU, here are the most controversial and extreme viewpoints shared by extremist Elon Musk in last night's extremely extreme, too extreme for EU citizens to ever hear conversation.
A lot of opposition to people just hearing what President Trump has to say. And but I'm honored to have this conversation. I want to emphasize it's a conversation.
I'll bet you didn't hear that clip on the mainstream media, and as Elon says, so right-wing.
But yeah, come join us on Patreon bonus stories. We'll talk about it a little bit more over there. And
it's going to be really scary. No, we're going to be pretty balanced, I think.
So do you remember Isuzu?
Yeah, we used to have an Isuzu Trooper. Yeah, it looked just like that.
Yeah, Isuzu made the Trooper between 1981 and 2002. In fact, Isuzu completely withdrew from the U.S. market in 2009.
Okay, so why are we taking a walk down Isuzu memory lane?
Well, Isuzu may be back.
I'm back, baby!
You see, Isuzu just announced that they will start selling locally assembled compact electric trucks like this Elf in North America starting this month and expand into mid-sized trucks in 2026.
Why are they doing this?
Well, the U.S. government has stricter emissions regulations, which will start in 2027. So Isuzu believes customers will be looking for more electric truck options. And according to this chart from S&P Global Mobility, at least with compact electric trucks, that's the dark blue line that's headed up there, Isuzu may be right. Isuzu's compact electric trucks will have 68 to 130 miles of range, and Isuzu will be starting with leases rather than sales.
P&S Intelligence expects the U.S. electric truck market to grow from $700 million in 2023 to $15.1 billion by 2030. I mean, it makes sense. If you need electric trucks, you're going to want electric trucks.
I don't know why Isuzu is the only one who seems to get that, but...
You know that Isuzu was my first word?
Wow.
I'm still a little... I don't know if that really counts.
All right, it's time for some SpaceX news from our buddy Eli.
Welcome back to the Starman Report. I'm Eli Burton, your host. And before we jump in, I have an exciting Starman update for you. On August 23rd, we are releasing the first ever song in the Starman universe. It's titled Starman Forever, and I'll tell you what, here's a sneak peek.
I'm a starman in the galaxy, cruising through the stars with no gravity. In my Tesla, I'm flying free, saving all the worlds that they can't see.
Starman Forever will be available on streaming platforms everywhere, starting 12:01 a.m. on Friday, August 23rd. Now, on with the show. Last week, SpaceX launched 116 satellites on a single mission. SpaceX launched the Falcon 9 from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California for the Transporter 11 rideshare mission that delivered these 116 satellites on the booster's 12th flight. 10 years ago, it was one rocket, one launch. But literally yesterday, a Falcon 9 on its 12th flight delivered 116 different satellites to orbit. Saturn V and the Apollo program were incredible. It showed people what was possible when we pushed the bounds of science. But in this era, right here, right now, this is the true launch of the space age. With NASA Artemis and the SpaceX Starship, we aren't just going to visit the moon. This time, we're going to stay. Looking deeper into the galaxy, the James Webb Telescope has captured a very bright new image. This is Messier 106, and it is one of the brightest and nearest spiral galaxies to our own. It sits at about 23 million light years away, which is incredibly far by our human scale, but by galactic scales, we're practically neighbors. And finally, the Boeing Starliner. There seems to be no good news for Boeing lately. NASA astronauts Williams and Wilmore are still on the ISS with no set return home date. SpaceX is scheduled to launch a mission of 4 astronauts to the ISS this September, and NASA may ask 2 of the crew to stay behind so Williams and Wilmore can take their seats on the return flight of the Crew 9 mission in February 2025. So what started as an 8-day mission has now turned into potentially over a 200-day mission in space. And although going to space for a week could be seen as a fun work vacation, 200 days in space is a grueling demand on the body, both mentally and physically. Godspeed up there, guys. On that note, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of the Starman Report, and I look forward to having you back for more of the most exciting news in space.
Starman, cruising through the stars.
Thanks, Eli.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, maybe we should start a countdown here. Astronauts Williams and Wilmore have been up on the ISS now for 72 days.
It was supposed to be 8 days.
Just a 3-hour tour. As Wall Street Silver says, in 2014, NASA awarded contracts to 2 companies to build spacecraft capable of bringing astronauts and cargo to the ISS. SpaceX received $2.6 billion, launched its first mission in 2020, and has done 13 crew missions with 49 astronauts so far. Boeing received $4.2 billion. Its first mission in 2024, stranded at the space station with leaks, likely a total loss, and the astronauts will be needed to be rescued by SpaceX. Even worse, the software on Starliner cannot handle an automated undocking, possibly resulting in Starliner permanently blocking one of the 2 ports needed for other capsules to arrive.
And Elon said, yeah.
But let's distract the public from this Boeing problem and make up some Yes, let me call my employee, friend, Eric Roish at CNBC, and have him run a ridiculous story about SpaceX. Let's see, what shall it be? Oh, I've got it. Well, let's say that SpaceX is polluting the water. Yes, everyone hates polluters. That's brilliant. But how is SpaceX polluting the water? They aren't, but he'll come up with something. That's what we pay him for.
SpaceX repeatedly polluted waters in Texas this year, regulators found.
Turns out, as Community Notes points out, mercury levels were not 113 micrograms per liter. This was an error due to the value already being in micrograms and being converted as if it was in milligrams. Eric Roish is known to be biased against SpaceX. He has made numerous false claims and conspiracies, including claiming sand was concrete. So SpaceX posted a long response here on X saying that CNBC's story was factually inaccurate. The SpaceX deluge system, that one that just pours water when the rocket's about to take off, it uses clean drinking water, and they have been working with the Texas Commission of Environmental Quality throughout the build of the system.
Also, the pad is power washed prior to activating the deluge system, and that water is collected and hauled off before launches occur.
SpaceX then tests water samples every launch, and so far, third-party labs have found that mercury levels are always below EPA drinking water standard levels. The entire story appears to be based on a typo found in the TCEQ public version of the permit application.
And Elon says CNBC sucks.
But Elon said that this is cool. So as the SpaceX website says, as early as this year, Falcon 9 will launch Dragon's 6th commercial astronaut mission, FRAM-2. So this is not the other mission you're probably thinking about with Jared Isaacman. This is completely different. This is where the first human spaceflight mission to explore Earth from a polar orbit and fly over the Earth's polar regions for the first time. Named in honor of the ship that helped explorers first reach Earth's Arctic and Antarctic regions, FRAM-2 will be commanded by Chung Wang, an entrepreneur and adventurer from Malta. Wang aims to use the mission to highlight the crew's explorational spirit, bring a sense of wonder and curiosity to the larger public, and highlight how technology can help push the boundaries of exploration of Earth and through the mission's research. Joining Wang on the mission is a crew of international adventurers, Norway's Jannik Mikkelsen, vehicle commander, Australia's Eric Phillips, vehicle pilot, and Germany's Rabia Raj, mission specialist. This will be the first space flight for each of the crew members. Throughout the 3 to 5 day mission, the crew plans to observe Earth's polar regions through Dragon's cupola at an altitude of 420 kilometers, leveraging insight from the space physicists and citizen scientists to study unusual light emissions resembling auroras. And again, there's a story you probably have heard nothing about in the mainstream media, just some humans going to space.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just thought that'd be fun to watch a spaceship take off and land. I don't know, this is like a mind-blowing video to me because it's not CGI, it's not a video game, it's not a movie. This really happens pretty much every week now.
Mm-hmm.
I just think if you're a teacher, you should be showing this to your classroom. If you're a parent, you should be showing it to your kids. Like, this is the state of technology today, but yet if you turn on mainstream media, you don't see it. It's not talked about, but
and a lot of people don't know that this actually happens.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I mean, there, as I keep talking to people, more and more people in my circle know about it, mainly through me. But when I don't tell people about it, they tend to not know. And it's kind of weird because this stuff has been happening for like, I don't know, half a decade at this point, and people just don't know that it actually works.
Yeah, and as Eli talked about, I mean, Falcon 9 just launched 116 spacecraft to orbit and completed their 375th mission. It's amazing, but no one talks about it. All right, it's time for Into the Future, sponsored by our friends at Henson Shaving.
If you want to get this amazing razor plus 100 blades for free, you can use our code NOWYOUKNOW at checkout. Just put those blades in your cart. Put Now You Know with no spaces in the promo code thing, and you'll get those blades for free.
I hope that astronaut on Starliner had brought one of these with them because
I know, right? You go.
I only brought enough blades for 8 days.
The FDA, or Food and Drug Administration, has granted approval to Neuralink for their second human subject to receive the N1 brain interface implant.
So this is after Neuralink has successfully implanted their first subject, Noland Arbaugh, with the N1 chip, and has been able to use telepathy. That's what Neuralink is calling the ability to allow people with mobility issues to control devices with their thoughts. So Noland's implant had some of the threads connecting the N1 chip to his brain pull out, but Neuralink has now refined the procedure and is hopeful that future patients won't have this problem.
Neuralink is planning to implant the N1 chip in up to 10 more subjects by the end of this year.
Elon responded to news of the FDA granting approval by saying,
Cool.
All right, it's time for Going Green.
You know how you often hear people say things like this? I don't like EVs because EVs are going to put a burden on the electrical grid and drive up electricity prices.
I do hear that.
Well, Synapse Energy Economics Incorporated has released a study of EVs with over 11 years worth of data showing that EVs in the US have actually helped lower the cost of electricity for everyone.
How can that be, you ask? Well, they said this analysis examines costs and revenues associated with EVs between 2011 and 2021 across the U.S. We observed that over the last 11 years, EV drivers across the U.S. have contributed approximately $3.1 billion more than their associated costs, driving rates down for all customers. When we also include utility expenditures for EV programs, EV owners have contributed approximately $2.4 billion more in revenue than in costs. So Synapse basically studied more than 2 million BEVs and hybrids sold in the US. And for you data wonks out there, we'll put a link down below to the study so you can get your data fix on. All these cool charts to read.
Oh, interesting. So the takeaway is the more electric vehicles there are on the road, the lower utility bills will be for all customers.
Yeah. I mean, thanks to Vitor for sharing the study with us. But I mean, basically, this study totally makes sense for those of us who drive EVs, right? EVs have giant batteries that can charge up during off-peak times and help smooth out the grid. And what's really cool here is over this past 10 years when they did the study, none of us were trying to do that. Like, none of us were like, I'm going to plug in at noon today and take all of the solar energy.
I just called my friend from the grid, and he said I should plug it in right now.
Right. We just plug in when we want to. Imagine if we start actually doing like Tesla's power share, right, where we plug in and actually are trying to use solar energy during the day. It's going to completely level out the grid.
So, I mean, this is where there's hardly any incentives for the EV driver to plug in
exactly
at any certain particular times. I mean, there are some off-peak places.
The only incentive
grids.
right now is that usually during the middle of the day, electricity is cheaper.
Okay. As opposed to like peak times
in the evening.
In some grids,
right.
They will do that. Interesting.
But yeah, if we were to switch to a system where it was really an incentive, we would completely help out everyone on the grid to make electricity cheaper. It's just that all the FUDsters are like, EVs are going to make it worse for you. And they're wrong. This study proves it. And speaking of charging, if you want to charge but you don't want to be a sitting duck when you charge, go check this out. It's the EVject Escape connector. And as you're seeing here, if you do need to get away, you can now with this plugged in at the Supercharger, because when you pull away, it breaks. And you're like, why are you selling me something that's going to break, Zach and Jesse? Well, it's designed to break.
And it's designed for you to get away whenever you're plugged in and wherever you're plugged in. It doesn't just have to be at a supercharger.
That's true.
You can plug in at home at a level 2 charger. Anytime that you're going to be in the car while the car is charging and you might need to be able to drive away, this will allow you to do that.
And I'm not trying to fearmonger here, but bad things can happen. A fire could start, a bear could attack, and you don't want to have to get out of your car and be like, hello, Mr. Bear, I'm just going to unplug. You want to just drive off. So if you do, that breaks, and then you just call up EVject and they'll get you another one for free. If you want it for your friends and family so you feel safer when you're charging, and hopefully you never need it, go to evjack.com right now and save 50% when you use our code NYK. All right, it's time for Sunspots. Sawyer Merritt posted, news. Construction has begun in Queensland, Australia on a new $750 million Tesla Megapack battery storage facility. The 300 megawatt or 1200 megawatt hour Stanwell battery marks the start of the transformation of the major coal center into a green energy hub. And of course, Elon said,
cool. And it really is cool, Elon, because it's transforming a coal hub into a renewable energy hub.
Yeah, this 1.2 gigawatt hour battery with 324 Tesla Megapack 2XL units will be able to power about 240,000 homes.
And get this Stanwell battery project is just one of 8 major battery projects now under construction in Queensland.
So 3 major coal power plants, the Stanwell, the Tarog, and the Collide coal generators are all expected to move to phase 1 of their wind down starting in 2026 and 27, at which point they will operate only as peaker plants when needed.
And you may be asking, where are they getting all of the energy for this?
There's a pipeline from the sun. We've installed it. It's a major pipeline that brings it from the sun.
Genius, genius, genius!
Oh no, it's spilling. It's a nice day out.
And another Sunspot story here, this one from Bangkok. Tesla Energy released this new video on X saying Powerwall keeps the rave going.
Keeps the rave going?
Yeah, Tesla Powerwalls are in the Echelon nightclub in Bangkok, Thailand, and they keep the party going even when the grid goes down. Yeah, so Powerwall's not just for fuddy-duddy homesters anymore. This is for hipsters.
This is for cool people.
Hey, and if you'd like to get Powerwalls, if you'd like to get solar or other batteries, and you're just not sure what options and rebates and all that stuff, talk to our friends at EnergyPal. They know all this stuff. They do it all for free. Just tell them that Zach and Jesse sent you, and you're going to be glad you did. All right, it's time for our video contributor stories. Remember to send your stories to us at hello@nowyouknowchannel.com. Shoot them for 2 minutes or less. Shoot them in landscape with good audio and no music. What do we got this week, Jess?
Brian sent us this video from Lantana, Florida.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. I'm at the Lantana, Florida Supercharger, and we've got a amazing Cybertruck behind me, and over here another Cybertruck. I've never seen 2 at the same time. This is a great supercharging spot with, I don't know, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 15 chargers, and it has a Wawa. It's right off 95. Super great location. And with the Wawa and other stores around here, I'd rate this a good 8.5 out of 10 on the juicy scale. Now you know.
Okay, I only saw 2 Cybertrucks.
Yeah, Brian said that he was sorry. A third one showed up right after he was done filming.
I get it. You're so excited when you see them. You're
Me
like,
too.
All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. So on our Patreon this week, we've got really so many stories that just I couldn't not talk about.
Waymos get stuck.
Uber drivers speak up.
Australian solar gets switched.
And so much more.
You can see these stories for just $1 a month. Also, we have our Investor Club bonus stories for our Investor Club members. And this week we have a live stream on Thursday with the COO of Solaflect.
Yeah, so head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow and support us.
Keep independent journalism strong and get all of these Patreon bonus stories.
It's a Patreon bonus stories.
All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories. It's time for the Patreon poll.
Would you like to work at the Tesla Diner in Hollywood?
I would. And apparently I'm the only one. I don't even know how to roller skate, and I still want to work there.
Well, I don't think they're going to use roller skates this particular...
I don't know. I'd come out with my manager hat and be like, everyone having a good time? I don't know. It's my fallback position if the YouTube channel doesn't work out.
Gotcha.
All right, it's time for Elon's X's of the week. Buckle up or tune out, whichever suits you the best. And as Elon says, days since last all-nighter, he's having fun with the new Grok 2. I was having fun with it too. It is so cool. You can draw all this stuff. It's really fun. Alex says Tesla delivery center in China yesterday.
Elon said, cool.
Doge Designer says, without Googling, name something the United Kingdom invented.
Elon says, pretty long list, to be honest. Hard to beat the ancient Sumerians in firsts. So many things have been invented and then forgotten by so many civilizations over the millennia.
Bojan says, I can't wait to summon my Tesla on X via Starlink connected to my Neuralink.
Elon said, gonna happen.
IO says, writer in The Guardian seems a possible solution to stopping Elon Musk from tweeting things he doesn't like. Arrest him.
Elon said, as this insufferable douchebag illustrates, old Twitter was a far-left propaganda machine. Now we actually have free speech.
Wall Street Apes says, and Kasparian exposes where the money California is spending on homelessness is going. It's being funneled into NGOs and executives that are making $500,000 a year each. Just experiencing what I've seen on the ground in California has made me question a lot about left-wing ideology.
Elon said, yeah, the NGOs make crazy money off the homeless.
Elon then said the worst thing about censorship is... Tim Sweeney says, now Apple is demanding a 30% cut of all Patreon donations. Apple must be stopped. The digital world cannot go on like this.
Elon said, man, that's like taking money from street musicians.
Yeah, it is. Elon then said, a society should, quote, make the right things easy and the wrong things hard. A quote from Ray Hunt. He was a horse trainer. X then posted, there's a place for everyone in the global town square, and they showed that their audience is pretty damn diverse.
There's actually more Democrats on there than Republicans, huh?
Mm-hmm. And Alexander Mertz, Tesla boomer mama, said exactly this is why they are so furious.
And Elon said bullseye.
Beth says Elon will be remembered in the history books for defending our freedoms during this critical juncture. Either that or we lose the fight against censors and extinctionists and there are no more history books.
Elon said, indeed, the first thing a censorist regime does is rewrite and erase history.
Amuse says Democratic judge in New York won't allow RFK Jr. on the ballot.
Elon says the relentless lawfare to undermine the people's right to vote for their candidate of choice has to stop.
Vinod Khosla says EU sends warning letter to Musk ahead of Trump interview. How stupid are these regulators, Elon? Love your standing up to them.
And Elon said thanks.
Charlie Kirk says, Musk, I've not been very political before. They try to paint me as far-right guy, which is absurd because I like to make electric cars. I supported Obama. I stood in line for 6 hours to shake Obama's hand. Historically, I was a moderate Democrat. But now I feel like we're at a critical juncture for the country. For the people out there in the moderate camp, I think you should support Donald Trump for president.
And Elon said, yep.
Tesla owner Silicon Valley says Elon Musk on climate change. It's not an immediate crisis, but we need to move towards sustainability better sooner than later. We can do this without vilifying the oil and gas industry or causing short-term hardship.
And this was part of the talk with Trump that he had, and Elon said, yeah.
Daniel says Elon might be the most positive influence Trump has in the spaces. So far, he has advanced cutting government spending, legal immigration, deregulation, high-speed transit, nuclear energy, and sensible approach to climate change. Charlie Kirk says, breaking, Elon Musk just volunteered to help on a government efficiency committee to rein in government waste. Trump agreed enthusiastically. Boom!
Elon said a tremendous amount of growth and opportunity would be created by deregulation and reduction of wasteful government spending.
Elon then said, happy to host Kamala on X Spaces too. He went on to say, to be clear, I do think global warming is real and we should be concerned about the accelerating CO2 parts per million growth. However, the progress of sustainable energy production and consumption is tracking to solve global warming in time if we are not complacent. And we will run out of oil and gas down the road, so why run this CO2 experiment to extreme levels when need to solve sustainable energy anyway? Homar's catalog said, we'll eventually need to transition, so we might as well get started, but we'll convince people to switch by making a Tesla the best car they've ever owned, not by eco-guilt.
Elon said exactly, convince people to switch by making better products.
And then this, which was not supposed to be a joke.
I know you guys are objective over there, that you just report the news as it is. Oh, I know. CNN makes a... I know
was that supposed to be a laugh line?
I wasn't supposed to be, but I guess it is.
But turned into a joke.
Got a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
And Elon said, laughing my ass off, the public knows.
Homar's catalog says, Kamala Harris's dad wrote this book.
And Elon said, yeah, she was literally trained by a communist from a young age. Kamala saying equity all the time, meaning equal outcomes regardless of how talented or hardworking you are, is just another way of saying communism.
Wall Street Silver says, this is the height of hypocrisy. This guy has done nothing in over a decade as mayor or governor. Now he is demanding results?
Elon said, well, at least he's finally trying.
Richard said 90% of Americans have air conditioning compared to 19% of Europeans. Europe had, by one estimate, 62,000 excess heat deaths in 2022 compared to around 1,700 in the U.S. I don't know if the measures are similar, but high-end estimates for U.S. don't go above 10 to 15,000. Europe is poor.
Elon said a basic air conditioner is very inexpensive and even electricity cost is low if just serving 1 or 2 rooms for part of the day for the summer months. It's a cultural thing.
Sawyer Merritt says news. The UAW today filed federal labor charges against Trump and Elon Musk due to something Trump said during last night's X Spaces.
Elon said the last 2 UAW presidents went to prison for bribery and corruption, and based on recent news, it looks like this guy will join them.
And then Mike Benz looked it up and said, wow, it's true. Yes, the former international UAW presidents did go to prison for embezzling funds.
And Elon said, yep.
Brendan Carr, who's on the FCC, says in 2021, Vice President Harris agreed to lead the administration's $42 billion plan to extend internet to millions of Americans. Today, over 1,000 days after the plan was enacted, 0 people have been connected to the internet with that money, 0 projects underway.
Elon said insane incompetence.
And then this chart showing that CNN and CNBC viewership is going down.
And Elon said CNBC is trending to 0. And I mean, look at the... This isn't just like they lost 1 million. Wow.
That all coincides with X.
It's just-
Wall Street Silver says, so they admit that the voting machines can be hacked, but they claim it can't be fixed?
And Elon says, what? Let's use paper ballots.
Ian Miles Chong says, jailed for meme crimes, a 51-year-old man in Egremont, UK, named Lee Joseph Dunn, has been thrown in jail for 12 weeks over 3 memes. Memes that show images of migrant gangs with a caption saying, coming to a town near you.
Elon says, thank goodness for the U.S. Constitution.
Then this post from Italian government official Matteo Salvini, yet another surreal and venomous threat to Elon Musk for his interview with Donald Trump by EU Commissioner Burton, later denied by the EU Commission, using the Digital Service Act as a tool of censorship. Musk's blunt response is not surprising. The League was the only Italian party in Europe to vote against the DSA, warning of the risks of gagging freedom of information. Enough with absurd rules that suffocate democracy. Long live freedom of thought. We always defended her, Elon. You have all our support. Go ahead.
And Elon said, grazie.
Sophie said, what media bias?
And Elon said, so obvious.
Sawyer Merritt says, if you ask most people to name the most American-made vehicle, they'd likely say the F-150. However, the F-150 doesn't even rank in the top 50. In 2024, the Tesla Model Y was the #1 most American-made car.
Elon said, true.
David Sachs says Trump's real opponent in the election is the mainstream media. Harris doesn't need to do interviews when the entire mainstream media acts as her surrogate.
And Elon said, yeah.
Hassan says, I think Elon Musk made the best decision of his life by buying Twitter for $44 billion.
Elon says it was critical for civilization, in my opinion.
Elon then said, my grandfather was American with family from Minnesota, Illinois, and Pennsylvania. Doge Designer said the entire media is running a misinformation campaign against Elon.
Elon said it's wild.
Variety says J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk have both been named in a criminal complaint filed to French authorities over alleged acts of aggravated cyber harassment against Algerian boxer and newly crowned Olympic champion Iman Khalif.
Seth Dillon says, can they outlaw telling the truth?
And Elon said, they're certainly trying. Elon then posted a picture of Tesla headquarters. And Wokeness says, I asked Grok to generate the founding fathers, European, Viking, and Pope. Google, this is how it's done.
Elon says, still just beta, but the accuracy is decent. But it's not accurate. Technically, Vikings didn't have horns on their helmets.
Kristen says, Elon Musk heading to Venezuela for Maduro using Grok 2.0. Alex says, news, Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary says, I'm a huge fan of Elon Musk. I think that guy is a modern-day Bruce Wayne, and if he got involved with government, it would be a good thing for everybody in America. The guy is a no-bullshit guy. You may not like him, you may not like his communication styles, but look at what he's accomplished. If we could get more Elon Musk in the government, this country would not be in the situation that it is in.
And Elon said, nice of him to say.
Elon said, even Neo had to accept cookies to continue. And then, of course, everyone in the world must have seen this video by now, and Elon said, maybe we should bust a few moves in real life.
And Elon says, I'm up for it in real life if Donald Trump is. So they're going to have a dance party.
Elon says, when they keep telling you that you're threatening free speech for advocating for free speech. Wait, you're serious? Lauren says, at dinner, listening to the people beside me discuss the Trump-Elon space, getting almost every fact wrong, talking absolute nonsense. Quote, yes, Elon's wife, that Canadian singer, etc. He became a conspiracy theorist because their daughter is trans.
Elon said, anyone who thinks the media is real is an idiot.
Lauren says, much work to do in reversing this brain rot. Keep up the fireside chats.
Elon said, much work indeed, and it's far worse in Europe. People really believe the media there.
Jason DeBolt says, the left is like, Elon is manipulating the algorithm. And Elon responds with, the algorithm is open source. You can just look at the code yourself. Laugh my ass off.
Elon said that was hilarious. Unlike other platforms, our algorithm is open source.
And he said, we're super open to criticism. Goal is to make this the free speech public square for all views, not just right biased. But it would be hypocritical of me to be a free speech advocate and then not exercise my own right to free speech. David says, sometimes when things seem too big, you just have to think bigger.
And then Elon said, Kardashev Type 4.
And that would be a theoretical civilization that could harness the power of the entire universe.
Oh. And so he wants to dream bigger, yes.
Elon posted this meme, governments treat citizens far worse when they're disarmed.
And Elon posted gun emoji 100.
Ethan says, curious about the Grok Flux decision. Image creation has historically been the area that has drawn the most negative attention to LLMs, legal and online. Google limited its image creator DALL-E, defaults to cartoony style, but Grok seems to be running Flux without extra filters.
Elon says we have our own image generation system under development, but it's a few months away, so this seemed like a good intermediate step for people to have some fun.
Elon then reminded everyone that inflation is caused by the federal government spending more than it earns because they just print more money to make up the difference. To solve inflation, reduce wasteful government spending, your tax dollars should be spent well, not poorly. The rabbit hole said even Washington Post knows that price controls are whack.
Elon says, wow, an honest Washington Post article.
Sean McGuire says, I was hoping I'd wake up and this was just a nightmare, but it seems it's reality. Price controls on food has literally been the beginning of the end for economies in the communist playbook.
And Elon said, crazy.
Holmar's catalog said, would you copy your brain into an optimist to live longer after your physical body died?
Elon said, eventually, you will probably be able to upload a good approximation of your memories and mind state to the cloud with the ability to download it into a humanoid robot. You obviously won't be quite the same as you are today.
Woo! All right. All right, it's time for community mail time. Remember, share your stories, your photos, your videos with us at hello@nowyouknowchannel.com.
Community mail time.
So I just want to remind everyone, if you're in the New England area, our buddy Jeff is holding his next EV event at the Hebert's Candy Mansion in Shrewsbury, Mass. on September 14th from 2 to 5 p.m. The rain date is the same day the following week.
I heard that Rich Rebuilds will be there and a Model Y will be driving around throwing ice cream treats out the window.
Sounds fun. Jeff's events just keep getting bigger and better, so plan to stop by, check it out, tell your friends and family who want to learn more about EVs because there'll be plenty of different models there.
Wayne spotted this flowery Cybertruck in Irvine, California.
Caroline spotted the Chevy Silverado EV at the Ford meetup last month. I love your Give Bees a Chance pin.
Tom spotted this Rivian R1T at Penny's Motel in Thornbury, Ontario, Canada.
David spotted the Cybertruck at the Tucson International Airport.
Ben wrote to say, I've been seeing a few Cybertrucks here in Ocean City, New Jersey, and since I can't afford one yet, I thought I might make my own, not quite to scale, but it gave me a chance to educate passersby on it and Tesla in general. I found that not many people care for the design, and of course a few jokes about getting stuck in the sand. However, like the real Cybertruck, it was quite tough, making it through the night and only fell when I let the local kids smash it. So not quite the bulletproof, but that's because it was made out of sand.
Steven spotted this Model 3 with U.S. government plates in Oxford, Florida. Steven said it didn't have any other markings on it to indicate which branch it belongs to.
Kevin shared this social media post he spotted on Nextdoor in the Washington, D.C. area last week. As Kevin says, there are still people who have no idea about Cybertruck.
I love it. Good neighbors, my lady friend and I have passed this vehicle in 2 separate occasions. It's like, what is it? Well, Fred, it's a Cybertruck. Adam from Betliar, Slovakia spotted this VW ID Buzz.
Carl spotted this Volvo C40 at the Electrify America station in White Settlement, Texas.
Seth spotted this RTS electric bus in Rochester, New York.
Matthew saw this Cybertruck, or as he likes to call it, the Slimer truck, at the Supercharger in Brentwood, Northern California, not the Southern California town.
Christopher spotted these Lucids on the road driving back from Joshua Tree near Palm Springs.
So that's $1.5 million of loss just driving down the road. Amazing.
Just leave them there.
David spotted this Rivian R1T in Raleigh, North Carolina.
David says he finally spotted a Rivian Prime Delivery with Rivian's electric delivery van in Manhasset, New York.
Jason's wife spotted what appeared to be a camouflaged Ioniq 5 pre-release version charging at a Tesla Supercharger. It's not clear if it has a NACS port or if it's using a Magic Dock.
Christopher spotted this Mercedes S-Class ICE car, so it's not electric, but it is testing their Drive Pilot in California.
Sam spotted this Cybertruck at Trump Tower in Las Vegas. And yes, it is covered in Doge symbols, so you know someone crazy is driving it.
And we got this really cool EV tip of the week from Steve. He said, hey, Zach and Jesse, my son purchased a 2023 Tesla Model 3 standard range from Hertz. Remember the rental company we talked about last week? The car is in showroom condition. It has 35,000 miles on it with 19-inch rims with new tires. It has upgraded blue paint. He paid $23,200. The car is eligible for the $4,000 tax credit as well. So that's a $19,000 Tesla. The facility we went to was near O'Hare Airport in Chicago. I talked to the salespeople there and asked why they thought they were doing away with the Teslas. They said that it wasn't just Tesla, it was all their EVs. One thing I noticed was the lack of DC fast charging. They had about 20 level 2 chargers. I was told the car needed to be returned with at least the same charge it left with, otherwise a penalty was assessed. It appears that a lot of people were just opting to take their penalty. This left Hertz with having to charge the car for several hours. I think Hertz's biggest problem was a lack of planning on the education side. Renters are given little to no instruction at the time of pickup. They are not provided with the Tesla app and probably have no idea how to locate a charger via navigation. I'm sure this has left numerous people stranded on the side of the road. This was evident by the 50+% of the cars missing their tow eye covers. With Hertz's pricing, the cars are flying off the lot. While we were there waiting for our turn with the sales rep, they sold 8 vehicles. This particular facility only had room for about 20 at any given time. However, they claim to have over 1,000 on remote lots near the airport that they're bringing stringy in as they need to. They will not reserve a car over the phone. However, there is an interesting workaround. If you go on their website and see a car you like, reserve it by selecting Rent to Buy. This reserves that particular vehicle for you and keeps someone else from buying it. Your rental fee will be refunded to you at the time of your purchase. Regards, Steve O. Thank you so much, Steve. What a great way to maybe get a cheap Tesla.
Is it Steve O?
Maybe.
Brother of RJ Scaringe.
Isn't that cool?
That's really neat.
I mean, we talked about this last week, and I think, they have so many and they just want to get rid of them.
What a bunch of doofuses,
Yeah.
huh? I mean, that's the most doofus
And you can
thing.
rent to buy, so you could just rent it for a day or two, make sure it has, all the features you want, make sure it's in
true.
good shape, make sure there's no weird sounds, and then if you like it, buy it and they'll refund your rental fee.
I wonder how long you could rent it for.
I'm going to rent it for 3 years. All right, it's time for Supercharger reviews. Let's see what we got.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. This is Mark. I am at the Gold Ranch Casino, just outside of Reno and Verdi. There's a brand new 21 stall Supercharger and one pull through right there. It's right off the Interstate 80. There is a cafe in the casino. It's open 24/7. No, the cafe is only open until 9. Casino's open 24/7. A Jack in the Box, Subway sandwich, also inside. An RV park, which is really nice. And I think I said Jack in the Box. It's a really nice area, a good place to walk your dog. Lots of trees, pretty beautiful. And it's, I think I said, right off the interstate, easy to get off and easy to get back on. So I'll give this a 6 out of 10. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, I'm in Baker, California, charging on the 68 stall. It's a 250 kilowatt max. So I'm at the 250 kilowatt. I'm over here by myself. All right, these are all 250 kilowatt, but out front, they're 150s. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 people out there using 150 kilowatt because Tesla didn't label them. And yeah, so now you know, use the 250 kilowatt.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. This is David checking in from the Vandenberg Village, also just outside of the city of Lompoc, and also just outside of Vandenberg Air Space Force Base main gate. And this is a relatively new install, level 3, or version 3, I should say. And there are, I think I counted 14 stalls. And what's nice about them, you see my car here, several of them are pull-throughs, I think 4 of them. And so if you had a trailer, you could actually stick out. It wouldn't be a problem because this parking lot doesn't get very full. There are some amenities. There's a little grocery store back here. There's a Subway sandwich shop. There's a little bar and restaurant place. But that's about it. Oh, there's a gas station, a library, and so forth close by. But yeah, it's a nice facility, and it's really needed because this is the only supercharger this close to Vandenberg Space Force Base. And it's going to be very much a benefit for people coming to see launches and so forth, because as you know, SpaceX has a launch facility here, and there's massive amounts of launches that go out of Vandenberg Space Force Base. So that's about it. Again, this is David from Vandenberg Village / Lompoc, California. Now you know.
Here we are at the Boonton Station, New Jersey. We got 10 stalls here. There's my sweet Model 3. And there's lots to do. I mean, there's a wonderful, wonderful bagels and deli place. Loved it. They do everything from scratch. And it's not just breakfast. They do full breakfast in there. And the sandwiches for lunch. Everything is from scratch. They got a huge menu. Absolutely recommend it. But then there's a lot of other stuff. There's, Nails, a bank, Jersey Mike's, Dunkin'. You got cleaners over there. I think that's a smoke shop. And then there's even a supermarket, all very close by. Starbucks, a pharmacy. you know, I gotta give it a 10 out of 10. It's a perfect spot. But big shout out to the owner of Bagels and Deli. Wonderful place. Enjoyed the food there. Highly recommend. And now you know.
And I just want to say, I think we found a bug in our site. So maybe some of you are having some problems. I've been getting some emails. We're trying to fix it. So hopefully it'll be fixed in the next week or so.
Thank you so much for doing Supercharger reviews. You guys are awesome.
All right, what do we got for new Superchargers in the world?
We got the 20 stall in Niagara Falls at Morrison Street in Ontario, Canada.
We have number 35 in Finland, the 6 stall version 4 in Jorinen, Finland.
We have the 8 stall in Aurelia, Ontario, Canada.
We have the 16 stall in San Diego.
The 12 stall version 4 in Orlando at Edgewater Drive, Florida.
We have the 4 stall in Whitecourt, Alberta, Canada.
Number 221 in Canada is the 4 stall at Valley View, Alberta, Canada.
We have the 20 stall version 4 in Milpitas, California.
Number 53 in Massachusetts is the 12 stall in Lowell, Massachusetts. I just charged there the other day in the Cybertruck.
We have the 16 stall version 4 in South San Francisco.
Number 21 in Thailand is the 4 stall in Surat Thani at Meat Cafe in Thailand.
Number 164 in Florida is the 40 stall version 4 in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Expanding from 3 to 8 stalls is the Volsfjörður in Iceland.
Number 82 in Virginia is the 8 stall in Colonial Heights.
Number 144 in the UK is the 16 stall version 4 in Gretna at Caledonia Park, UK.
The 32 stall version 4 in San Jose, California.
And number 481 in California, number 2,356 in the USA, number 6,583 in the world is the 12 stall version 4 in San Jose at South White Road, California.
Nice. And again, remember weeks ago, people were like, so Tesla's going to stop making superchargers.
Yeah,
that news story. And again, they get to print these news stories, and then, you know, everyone thinks that's the truth, and then they don't update it or tell you that they were wrong. So you just have that stuck in your mind. And if you're not in this Tesla world like we are, reporting on this every week, then you're like, yeah, I heard Tesla's just not doing that anymore.
Right. Well, and it's, you know, perfectly normal for people not to check up on things.
I guess.
I mean, of course, if you hear that something's going to happen, then you go and believe it. I hope that you choose your news sources wisely. I hope that we're one of your news sources. You may not like us. That's okay. I just thought you might want to know some of this stuff, and you can look deeper into it.
Exactly.
And we're going to see all of these amazing people that are scrolling by us over on our Patreon bonus stories this week.
We have so many cool stories this week. I mean, just it's like we do a whole other Tesla Time news every week for them, and then we do it again for our Investor Club bonus stories. So it's so much content, so much good stuff. You will feel so smart when you're done. I often feel smart.
So we'll see you guys next week. Now you know.